Welcome to NASCAST 500, the only NASCAR podcast that's not live from studio apartment in Chicago, Illinois. Actually, it's live at a home in New Jersey. But anyway, I'm Elizabeth Moxley, and I'm joined by my two best friends in the whole wide world.
Mathew.
And Hamm.
Hello, guys.
Hey, what's going on?
Let's start off with the Gibbs racing situation. There's going to be a shuffle in the crew chiefs in the 2015. Darian Grubb's going to Carl Edwards. Dave Rogers will shift to Hamlin. Adam Stevens will be Bush's new crew chief, and Jason Ratcliffe will remain with Matt Kenseth. I am not happy with this. I think Jason Ratcliffe should have went to either Hamlin or Bush, but hey, whatever.
Well, I mean, I kind of saw it coming because you saw it, Bristol, when Dave Rogers was telling Kyle to stop acting like such a pansy and get back in the car and then just drive. And I kind of saw it coming. And to be honest, it's not really going to matter who's Kyle's crew chief next year. Kyle's going to suck anyways. I mean, it's just the story of he'll run like shit in Cup, regardless of what he'll do. He'll still win nationwide now with Xfinity and trucks, and that won't hinder him a bit. As far as Grubb going to Edwards, that was a bit of a surprise to me because I figured that Grubb would still be with Hamlin next year and that they'd pick some other random dude to be Edwards' crew chief or someone that's really familiar to the pit box, I guess. But, there's always a change, I guess. Maybe Grubb and Edwards could have some success. The thing I'm really surprised about is that Jason Ratcliffe didn't go anywhere because, him and Kenseth have got a lot of history together last year and this year. I kind of expected Ratcliffe to be one of the guys that would be switching over to other teams, but good to see that Ratcliffe's still with Kenseth. But this crew chief swap's a little bit of a mindfuck when you think about it. Don't know how Dave Rogers will do with Hamlin next year. Maybe better than Grubb did with Hamlin, maybe worse. And as far as Adam Stevens going for Kyle, like I said, it's just not going to really help him. You can give him Jimmy Finnig, you can give him Chad Lee Knaus, you can give him Paul Wolf, and they'll still run like shit. It's funny how 6 years ago he was the man to beat, and nobody fucked with Kyle Busch. Now nobody really gives a shit about him anymore because we know he's not going to be a contender for a championship. He'll get a win here and there, but as far as the chase goes, he ain't going to do shit.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is for Kyle Busch, he's more worried about making sure he's making money so that he can fund Samantha's baby, honestly, at the end of the day. With the crew chief swap, it was rumored for months. The first domino that dropped was in the trucks when they spoke about Eric Phillips, and he was supposed to be Kyle's crew chief in the Xfinity. But they recently announced that Eric Phillips will be working on the Daniel Suarez car, which will open up something that I'll be talking about later. Instead of Kyle's car, Kyle's crew chief is going to be whoever the 20 crew chief was this year. They're doing a swaps over there. In terms of this, I mean, Darian Grubb was one call away from being a two-time champion in Cup. Ironically, it's crazy to think that Denny Hamlin had the best car at Homestead a few weeks ago, or one of the best cars, and probably could have won that race. And Grubb actually showed up when it counted most, and he had a balls-out move that if NASCAR didn't want to manipulate the finish, he would have probably won the championship. But Grubb going to Edwards is not a surprise. Edwards does better with more analytical engineering types. Jimmy Fennig is just that good. He built it on his own. He built cars on his own and this, that, and the other thing. But you look at his longest crew chief relationship was with Bob Osborne, and if there's somebody that could emulate a Bob Osborne and kind of temperament and the way things are, Darian Grubb is it. They need a steadying force with a brand new team there. In terms of Adam Stevens, everyone knew that he was going to take over for Kyle Busch or take over for Rogers at the 18. I thought Rogers was going into an administrative role. He was going to get off the road. Instead, they put him with Hamlin. Honestly, I think they should have switched Radcliffe to Hamlin because they had success back in the Busch series when they ran the Rockwell automation Chevy. But for some reason, they kept a combo together that went from 7 wins to 0. And yeah, they had a chance to make the Final Four, but really, they weren't as relevant as they were the year before. I think it would have been a good move to put Rogers with Matt Kenseth in that spot. But hey, whatever, it's Coach Gibbs. Usually, most of the stuff he does works, so we'll see what happens with that.
Well, on this topic of Joe Gibbs Racing, Bubba Wallace, who's our favorite Camping World driver, he asked and got granted his release from Joe Gibbs Racing, and possibly might go to Roush as a fourth Cup driver, with Chad Norris as his crew chief. I think it's good for him because basically Joe Gibbs was like screwing over so many times, and it's like it got to the point where Bubba Wallace was saying, "Fuck this, I'm out of here."
Yeah, I mean, it's sad, though, because the only thing that was keeping Bubba from not competing for Gibbs was the fact of no sponsorship. Yet they had enough sponsors for the 18, for Daniel Suarez.
Which
and
he will be part of this year's Xfinity series.
Yeah, which I'm surprised about because he hasn't run a goddamn race in his life to prove that he's worthy of running nationwide. But then of course they have Monster back in Kyle's car, and whoever the fuck else is going to be in the 54 car. It's JGR. How could they not secure sponsorship for the 11? I mean, I know one main financial was for Sadler when Sadler was in the 11, but it's not like they're TriStar Motorsports or JD Motorsports or any of those low-level nationwide teams. It's Joe Gibbs Racing. They could come up with something. That's the thing I never really understood. But, you know what? Bubba thought, he had a decision to make, and he thinks he made the right one. Personally, the whole Roush thing, I don't know how it's going to fare. And from what my friend Jonathan said, he's like, what sucks about the whole Roush thing? He still won't have sponsorship. I'm like, well, they'll probably come up with something. But, the Roush program next year, it's going to be Sadler, Reed, and then Buescher still in the 60. And then they got Bubba coming in as the fourth car. We don't know if it's going to be full-time, part-time. I wish it'd be full-time because, Bubba's one of my favorites, not just in truck series, but in all the NASCAR together. He deserves a full-time ride in any of the series he can get. Hopefully it works out for him because I hate to see young talents like that just get screwed over by other teams and then they end up getting drafted back to trucks part-time or nationwide part-time or even just leave the sport altogether, do something else.
Yeah, I mean, seeing this story pissed me off in general because he's one of my favorite drivers, but in all seriousness, he's one of the best young talents NASCAR has. And the fact that Joe Gibbs is like, oh, Bubba look for sponsorship, Joe Gibbs look for sponsorship, Kyle Busch look for sponsorship, they can't find it. It's like, that's idiotic. That's asinine to me. I mean, the one thing that does get to me is about how BZF and NASCAR in general, the France family, they have all these entitlement sponsors, which at the end of the day, nobody knows that they're this of NASCAR or that of NASCAR, the official ass swipe of NASCAR, this, that, and the other thing. If instead of hogging all those sponsors, taking all that money, if they actually allowed the teams, the rolling billboards, to go out there every week and show it, then these drivers wouldn't have as big of an issue. Yeah, Eric Jones doesn't even have money. Honest to God, Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski lose money running trucks. So the fact is, they're big salaries. They basically are dumping money into trucks because there's no money to be made there. And Bubba was running a virtually unsponsored truck all year. So was Eric Jones. The whole point is they had all this time. They thought it's not like the 3 wins came out of nowhere. They saw these wins coming. They saw how well Bubba did. It's the same thing for Ryan Blaney. they can't find him sponsorship for the Xfinity series, so now he's basically given up on that. He's going to run a few truck races for Brad. He's going to run a few nationwide races for Penske, but he's going to focus on his limited schedule with the Wood brothers and maybe limited races with Penske and Cup. Those are two of the best young drivers in the sport. They're two of NASCAR's next. What part of what's the disconnect here? If they're part of NASCAR's next, then NASCAR investment in them actually coming through. Shouldn't they be trying to go and get sponsorship or helping to get these guys marketed properly? I mean, it's a fucking joke when you have all these mediocrities run around every single week and suck. Getting sponsorship. And you see how Nationwide, they go from sponsoring Nationwide, and they go in, like, Brad Keselowski is a perfect example. 2 or 3 of his sponsors were on Sam Finish's car for basically the whole season. They only sponsor 2 or 3 cup races. But at the end of the day, they'd rather have only 2 or 3 cup races because they know that they'll get noticed just in that spot for the limited event. That shows that there's no money value in Xfinity, there's no money value in trucks, there's no money value in drivers. That's why Kyle gets to drive around 100 races in the AAA and AA because they'd rather have him go and run it than somebody who actually trying to build a name. And people forget that this time a year ago, Chase Elliott didn't have a sponsor. Chase Elliott was in a position, or around this time, Chase Elliott was in a position where he wasn't going to have anything. So then MW55 and his stupidity and his bullshit with Ryan Vickers and all of them screwed Martin Truex, and Napa decided we don't want to have anything to do with this, which is crazy because they were willing to put up with his mediocrity for years, but then it took him doing Spingate for them to leave, so that's beside the point. And Hendrick and Earnhardt backed into that sponsorship. Chase gets the ride. Chase goes on the championship. I mean, it's ridiculous to me, and it's a scary thought how the sport is going to where these young guys. There's stories of young guys who basically run out the door. I mean, Bubba Walt's like a step and a half away from being Landon Castle. Because Landon Castle won the World Series Rookie of the Year, never got thrown out the door by Earnhardt, and then it took him 3 years to find his career again. And now he's actually driving, lower level equipment, but at least driving it well, which is a talent in the first place. It shows that what this sport has become under BZF, where no young drivers have a chance, and the 2 minor league series are basically cup-like.
Ben Rhodes is going to be driving the number 88 for Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series. Who's sponsoring him? Anybody else?
That's the all-star car where they have Junebug and Candy Cane, and so he's going to run limited races, and he has his own personal sponsors that he's probably bringing to the table. But then also with the Earnhardt conglomerate, Kelly is a good businesswoman, so she can find him some sponsors. I'm pretty sure that Ben Rhodes is on deck once Chase moves up after 2015, wherever that'll be. He'll be the driver, the full-time driver for them, one of the full-time drivers in 16, because he'll be of age by that point.
Adam's favorite NASCAR personality, and that's sarcasm right there, folks.
These
guys. Kyle Petty will join NBC Sports Group multi-platform NASCAR coverage as part of its race day broadcast team on NBC and NBCSN. Petty will work alongside host Chris Devoda and as an analyst during pre and post race shows surrounding Sprint Cup and Xfinity Series race coverage, which launches this July. In addition, Petty will continue his role as a regular contributor to NASCAR America on why do I say MSNBC for some reason? NBCSN. The announcement was made today by Sam Flood, executive producer, NBC Sports and NBCSN. Adam?
Yay! I'm so excited to. Oh my god! Oh my god! Stop! I thought when TNT left that we'd be rid of this idiot. Nope. He just finds a way to keep coming back, and it's nothing like, oh well, he's just gonna be an analyst, what he's so mad about. It's Kyle Petty. He's fucking annoying. I mean, he's on race day, victory lane, NASCAR. You know how to hear that for 7 years on TNT. Now we have to hear him every fucking race day on NBC. What the hell? Like, oh my god, you know? Don't get me wrong, like, Kyle Petty, he's not the worst driver in NASCAR history, but he's not as a lot of people thought he was in the 80s and 90s, but fucking Christ. He's a better driver than he is an analyst. Let's just say that. He can't call the race to save his fucking life. Like, one of my friends, who's subscribed on YouTube, he made this video of all these moments on TNT, and half of them were Kyle Petty being an idiot. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Yeah, sure, he's Richard Petty's kid, and he's racing NASCAR for 30-plus years, but still, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Like, I swear to God, half the time, it's just him saying, he's gas. That's incredible. He's gas. And then parts of it are kissing Johnson's ass, kissing Kyle's ass, kissing Danica's ass. We're just ironic to think about it because last year or 2 years ago, he hated Danica. He said, oh yeah, well, she's just a marketing machine. He did one thing right. Danica is a marketing machine. So let's just that. He did get that part right. But half the time when he was in the booth, I just had to close my ears and put on music because I couldn't stand to listen to his idiotic bullshit. I mean, that whole TNT booth in general was just garbage. I mean, we all know how much we hate Adam Alexander. He's a fucking hack. He can't call races and make everything boring. He's like the TNT version from Marty Reed, but I hate to say it, but Adam Alexander's better than Marty Reed. But that's not by much. Then you got Wally Dallenbach, who's an alright analyst. I mean, he's not the best, and he's not the worst either. I mean, there are plenty other worse analysts out there besides him. MW55. And then you add in Kyle Petty. Boy, can this get any more bland? I mean, fucking Christ. He doesn't make anything exciting. He's just there with his stupid ass ponytail that he still refuses to cut off. It's not 1987 anymore, Kyle. I'm trying to get rid of that shit. And just like when I read that news, I'm like, really? Just when we thought that we didn't have to hear this shit anymore, no more of these guys, no more That's Incredible. It's on a race. We didn't have to hear that. But no. NBC's like, oh, well, you weren't from America, it's pretty good. Fucking Christ. But I am thankful that he's not going to be calling the race with Rick Allen and Jeff Burton. That I am grateful for. But I'm not happy that we still have to hear his stupid ass on race day for the rest of 2015. I mean, hearing him on TNT for 6 races a year was one thing, but having to hear him for the next 20 races on NBC and NBCSN, fucking got him with a chainsaw, dude. Fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Kyle, I mean, he's become worse over time. He wasn't so bad when he started. He actually had original thoughts. Then he got comfortable and started repeating himself constantly. That's really part of it's. And when you're sitting next to Adam Alexander, you're not going to end up pronouncing very well anyway because he's a jackass, and he fits the Fox Sports 1 booth with that fairy Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons, who both talk no sense anyway. With Kyle Petty, I mean, whatever. I don't know what they're going to do with the pre-race studio. Quite frankly, I don't know why they have a pre-race studio. Couldn't they have gotten anything from when NBC did it the first time when they had that stupid pit cart? And then when ESPN did it, how bad it was? Don't copy Fox. Everything Fox does is bad. Do the opposite of what they're doing. 3-man booth? No. Okay, maybe you can't have more than 3 anyway. Go for a 2-person booth. Oh, if you have to have 3, have it balanced. We don't know what Jeff Burton or Steve Letarte are going to do. I don't know how Rick Allen's going to handle being the voice of the sport for 5-6 months. That's something to be heard. In terms of the infield, I really don't give a crap. Voda deserved a promotion. She'll do well in that role. She's way better than Chris Myers, who still doesn't have a clue about any sport that he calls. He's horrible. He's a piece of shit. And then Kyle is better than the Waltrips, but that doesn't say much about him. Uh, Having all these people pre-race show and that emphasize the pit crew, the people in the pits, use them to interview people, have an actual pre-race show like ESPN did back in the day. How about that one? How about you go and start the race? The race starts at 1:20. You get there at 1 o'clock. You interview a few drivers, give some quick hits, and go and get to the race. That's a novel concept. Oh wait, that's what they did until fixed sports came along and started destroying the sport. Yeah, the Kyle Petty, whatever. Who cares? We don't have to hear that. I don't watch NBCSN during the week anyway. So the logic that I'm going to be hearing him on NASCAR America, I have to work. So I really don't give a crap about
And
him.
Al Sharpton's TV shows on the same time, so I don't watch it either.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other thing. But
but here's something else. Him and his dad are NASCAR Illustrated's Persons of the Year because of Victory Junction. Now, I'm no Kyle Petty fan, but what he and his dad do for charity is pretty awesome, so I'll give him that.
yeah, I mean, the fact is, it's all about Adam Petty, and his losing his son was a big. Which, I mean, it wasn't like Kyle was driving all that well before it happened. Then when that happened, that basically ended him, and it's destroyed his life and his family's life in a lot of ways. I mean, his kids, of course, both of them I think have gotten married, so good, they're in a better place. But for Kyle, the only escape he's had is this, announcing, and I guess I don't know if he's really owning up to the name or representing the name the right way by going out there saying what he does. I think he's probably going to be a little more PC. Going back to what we were talking about last week, he's probably going to be more PC to make BZF happy, so he can keep his hard card for lack of anything else. I mean, I don't know why Kyle really cares. He really shouldn't be out there. He's got bigger things to do with him and Patty and the family to promote these families and promote helping them more than anything. But yeah, the fact that the Pettys, they do great things for the sport, and they've been the first family of NASCAR, and they'll continue to be, even if the Waltrips believe otherwise. They'll continue to be the first family in NASCAR and be great representatives for the sport.
Okay, well, Eminem, everybody knows who he is. He's in the news, and not in a good way. This was about almost a month ago, so I just found this out just a couple days ago. He released a mixtape, and he said something stupid about Tony Stewart in one of his lyrics, and every fan is like pretty upset. This is the lyric: "Been known to lose it though, so if I overdo it, you drove me to it. When I step into the vocal booth like I'm supposed to do, I'm gonna murder you on an expletive track like Tony Stewart."
That's good. That's a good line. That's original. That's original out of Eminem. But I mean, I thought it would be a lot worse than that. Sorry. You can go ahead, Adam.
All right, my bad. Yeah, I posted the link last night. I was going through Facebook and I saw the link, and I'm like, NASCAR fans and Eminem. I'm like, did he insult Doug Jr. and his inbreeding of fans, or what the fuck? So I clicked on it, and I'm like, wow, that was pretty. Like I said on the link, I said, you know what, I like Eminem and all, but I lost a lot of respect for him for that because, case in point, Eminem. Yeah, he's from. Yeah, he doesn't know much about NASCAR, but just go out there and then, say I'm gonna murder you like Tony Stewart. Like it sounds like Eminem hasn't read much into what the fuck happened. He's just going off what the media said or some bullshit like that, And then one of my friends is like, "Well, he's rapped about rape and abuse before, but this is bad." I'm like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it hits hard for us NASCAR fans because we're fans of Tony Stewart. And Eminem to say that shit is just it's really uncalled for. You know, I like Eminem. His old shit I can get down to, but after 2002, he's just gone to shit. And you know, he's now he's just a parody of himself. He's a joke. I mean, he's selling himself out. I mean, his newest album sucked donkey dick. I couldn't even listen to it. It just sounds like every other generic rap song out there now. It's just quote unquote Eminem rapping. It doesn't even sound like it. Like, ugh. But in the case of the Stewart lyric, pretty sure if Stewart heard about it, he'd be like, "What the fuck? That's a little fucked up." As a Stewart fan, a big Stewart fan, I'm offended because, yeah, Eminem's rapped about a lot worse shit than that. But I mean, when he doesn't know exactly what actually happened throughout the entire 2 months of the case between him and Kevin Ward Jr., all that bullshit that we talked about here on NASCAST, then maybe he wouldn't have said it. If he said something else, I probably wouldn't have fucking cared. But since it's one of my favorite drivers, and and the lyrics a little messed up when you think about it, it made me lose a lot of respect for Eminem. I'm not saying I hate him. I'm just saying that just made me lose a lot of respect for him for the Stewart lyric.
I mean, if Stewart heard it, he probably gets it hits him. It's a low blow, but in the end, he laughs about it because he knows where it comes from. It's coming from a piece of trash from Detroit. You know, like the point is, Eminem's relevance went away when I was done with Lincoln Tech back in 2004. He hasn't really been relevant for at least 5 years minimum. Uh, he has to make these crazy assertions and crazy accusations to make his music relevant. Okay, that's fine. I was going through it it was funny during Thanksgiving. It's like my cousin, she doesn't know the whole story, but she's going into me like, "Oh, Tony should have came out earlier and spoke." And it's like the one thing I forgot was how this case went on for so long, like 2 months, because of the great police work that they did in that Podunk County that this took place, and the fact that it took them forever to come up with a decision, which was pretty obvious. The whole thing is, if Tony Stewart's a murderer, then I'm Clark Kent. So the fact is, I know I'm not Clark Kent. I don't have the physical features to do it. So the logic and if anybody believes it, it goes back to this thing we talked about for 2 months. If people believe the guy's a murderer, they're gonna believe it. They also probably think pigs fly. I could give a fuck about those people. They could all go and blow their heads off, and nobody would really give a shit. At the end of the day, they'd be doing the world a lot of good by blowing themselves away and getting out of here. So then there'd be more money for people to actually do real work. The point is, who the fuck cares about Eminem? The guy is irrelevant. Oh yeah, he murdered about Tony Stewart. That's the typical of all the shit he says about people. He talks shit about everybody. That's been his career. So what? Talking about Tony Stewart? Look, I'm a diehard Tony Stewart fan. I'm guilty as charged. But in the end, people have said so much bad shit about the guy. At the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that if Tony isn't sweating it, I'm not going to sweat it. He has bigger things to worry about, like going and coming back and actually being back to who he is, which is one of the best drivers ever lived.
Which he had surgery on his leg the other day.
Well, he's had to have multiple surgeries anyway, based on the severity of his injury. So hopefully by the time you come back in January, he'll be ready to go.
Okay, now let's discuss the Banquet. 3 hours of hell for me. Thanks, guys. Jay Moore sucks. They couldn't get Penn and Teller, Bill Burr, or Brian Posehn to host. All the drivers thank their sponsors, their fans, their families, yada 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 yada. Lady Antebellum performed. They sucked. The guy who sang that "Wake Me Up" song he performed, he sucked. Those kids from Nashville, they sang and they sucked. What else? Oh, Flo Rida, which I had to bang my head against the wall. He introduces Denny Hamlin. Hey guys, guess who won the most popular driver award? Yay! Very good. Yeah, that was. Ugh. It was just so much. It was too much. Let's see. Melissa Rivers probably got more plastic surgery after her mom's death. She introduced Ryan Newman. Had no idea. I have no idea they're friends or anything. Oh, and Guy Fieri introduced Kevin Harvick.
Well, yeah, because they're buddies.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, 3 hours of me wasting my time watching this stuff. It was not that fun. It wasn't fun.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the banquet. I mean, I was hanging out with my friend, and I hadn't seen him in years, and he came over to my house and hung out, and I was like, okay. And I was looking for reruns of the banquet to see if I could read DVR, and I'm like, oh, fuck, it's not coming out. Oh, well, might as well just watch the rest of it. And I caught last 30 minutes or so when they were interviewing Hamlin, Harvick, Newman, and Pizza Face. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Harvick's giving his speech. He's my boy. He won the championship. Cool. Newman's my boy. He finished second. Cool. Hamlin's my boy. He finished third. All right, cool. Logano's speech, I just like skip because I had it on pause and I just skipped through his whole fucking speech because I can give a fuck less what Logano thinks. And that song at the end where this one dude's rapping about Harvick and how he won and shit. I'm just like, why the fuck is this on? Like, good Christ. And I agree with Elizabeth about the whole, they couldn't get anybody better to host the fucking awards. Like, Jay Moore, are they that fucking desperate that they have to get someone who's barely mentionable anymore? Like, anybody who barely knows who the fuck he is anymore. Anybody can give a fuck less about Jay Moore. It's like, oh, we're gonna go see Jay Moore tonight. Who? Nobody fucking cares. I mean, honestly, if Sam Kinison or Bill Hicks were still alive, I guarantee they'd be better than this shit. I'd rather see Penn and Teller. I'd rather see I'd rather see fucking Bob Saget host the fucking show.
Oh, that would be so awesome. John Stamos too. Get John Stamos.
Yeah. I'd rather have fucking John Stamos host the fucking show than Jay Moore. Jay Moore, he can't act worth a shit. He's a shitty comedian. He took a couple blows at Danica, no pun intended.
Shockingly, she was not at the event.
Not a surprise because she didn't win jack shit except for the most awards she's given a hand job in the bathroom to fucking Ricky, and and finishing of like the worst female driver of all time. Yeah, if they had given an award for that, she'd probably take number one in that cake. But I'm kind of glad because why would Danica be there anyway? She didn't win shit. She didn't win a pole. She barely got that top 5 at Atlanta to save her life, and the rest of it, fucking who cares? And Junior winning the most popular award, saw it coming. And I'm like, I posted on my Facebook. I'm like, there's no point in voting for the most popular driver in Cup, considering Junior's gonna win every fucking time. And my friend Corey's like, we'll wait till you cry wolf. I'm like, okay, we'll see. And then I got the news. I'm like, hey, Corey, you were saying? And he hasn't said shit because he knows I was right. He knows that I knew Junior was gonna win. Fucking everyone knew Junior was gonna win the most popular award until he retires. Nobody's going to beat him in that category. Everyone's going to be. Chase Elliott could come to the Cup Series, light it on fire, still wouldn't beat Dale Jr. in that category. There's so many other drivers who are more worthy of the most popular driver than Junebug. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I hate Junior, but come on. Can we just stop with this shit? He's not the most popular driver. Yeah, he won 4 races this year. One, he wasn't even in contention for the championship at one point, which was at Martinsville. Who the fuck cares? I can guarantee you, here's the most popular driver. What the most popular driver I think should have won this year should have been Larson. Larson was more popular than Junior because, let's see, Larson didn't get the chase, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he kicked ass.
But he got Rookie of the Year, though.
Yeah, he got that, but somebody should have been able to dethrone Junior. I mean, the only reason he's winning this is because there's so many inbred fans out there who just won't fucking stop until he wins everything, and it's just annoying. But the banquet, I could give a fuck less about missing it. It's just what I've seen every year. I refused to watch it last year because of the piece of shit that won the championship. I'm not even going to rant about that. We already talked about it.
Here's the good thing. He only did like a few statements, but he never did a speech, so.
Yeah, well, it's not really surprised considering he sucked ass and this is his worst season in Cup to date, which is ironic if you think about the 4 wins, one of which wasn't even was in the chase, and he wasn't even contending for the championship. Which I'm glad, because if he would have won that race at Texas and went on to and got into the Final Four at Homestead, I'm pretty sure I would have had to blow my brains out. Just the whole banquet in general, I could fucking care less. Only guys I really gave a shit about that weren't named Logano or Johnson or Kyle, I could really fucking care less. I mean,
now, would you watch the banquet on Comedy Central and make it more like a roast, having like Gilbert Gottfried or Jeffrey Ross or Cat Williams?
Yeah, I'd probably watch it. I mean, they already did the roast of Kevin Harvick, but that was on speed, and that really wasn't that
funny.
profanity
I'm
laced.
sorry, that wasn't funny.
Yeah, it was not really funny considering it wasn't on Comedy Central. If it was on Comedy Central, I probably would have busted my gut. But yeah, if they would have put it on Comedy Central and had a roast and had all these different comedians, Gilbert Gottfried roasting Kyle or Jimmy or anybody else, that would have been fucking hilarious. But it was just a wash. I mean, just the whole banquets in general is boring as fuck. I mean, they haven't gotten anybody good to host it. They haven't gotten anybody good to perform. It's just like, don't fucking care, and don't fucking care, because what am I missing? I mean, unfortunately, this is the only thing relating to NASCAR that we'll be able to see till Speed Week 2015. That sucks, because I got to watch the last 30 minutes of it. I was like, okay, what's next? So, yeah, the roast can go suck a fat one. I could really fucking care less if it's on next year.
Now that you have iPod Touch, you can listen to Gilbert Gottfried's podcast. He's freaking hilarious on that.
He's hilarious in everything he does. I fucking love Gilbert Gottfried. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so, I mean, I really didn't give a fuck about the banquet. It was useless to me. I only had one of my guys up there. I was kind of curious to see what anyone would say about Tony in terms of Ron Jeremy gave him credit, and then Harvick reading off the prompter gave credit to Smoke. I was more interested in what the chicks look like. Delana definitely didn't look good in her outfit. You think all that time she spends, trying to primp herself up looking like the freaking trophy wife, she'd go and get a decent dress. She didn't do that. And then they, of course, the continued exploitation of Keelan Harvick. They put him in a tux with a little trophy. That's disturbing, but that's a whole other subject.
There's going to be a special on the Kevin Harvick on HBO at 10 o'clock tonight.
Well, it's not Kevin Harvick. It's the wives of athletes, which means it's going to be Delana.
I don't have HBO, so I don't really care.
Yeah, so that's what that is. In terms of Harvick, good for him. He wins $12.8 million. That's a pretty good parlay. The fact is he was the best driver all year. The banquet has become complete shit since they moved it to Vegas. It was shit before that, really. Who the hell cares on most of the guys that are in that, and Junebug winning the most popular driver? I mean, there's certain things you can bank on in life. Death taxes and Junebug winning the most popular driver. Whatever. Let's move on to something that's relevant.
All right. We are going through our awards that we were rudely interrupted by doing last week. We'll go down. We'll start. David suggested Fucktard of the Year. I'm going to have to say Jamie Johnson. He just bitched and complained when he got eliminated from the chase. That's why he deserved the award.
Yeah, gonna agree. Of course, when we call the name Fucktard, it's obviously the fishback and his douche canoe of a crew chief. Yeah, he whined and complained that after he got eliminated at Talladega, oh, well, I've been in racing for 30 years and I've only won 6 championships. It's not that big. Shut the fuck up. You lost. Quit your bitching and just move the fuck on. But no, he has to make it look like he got the raw end of the deal, and he can't accept the fact that his team fucked up and that they cost their chance at a 7 championships. So good. Fuck them.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay, the Junior Kelly Aim Breeders' Cup Award. I have nothing. I have nothing. Sorry, guys.
It's the Junior Kelly Aim for Your Cup Award?
And that's what your best friend Nate wrote.
Okay, that's probably for Richard and for Pukemania, because nobody knows who's playing with what with what attachments there. I think that they definitely would win that. I'd give an honorable mention to Michael Waltrip and whatever animal he fucks.
Yeah, I'll probably have to go with what Bill said because there's not much I can give in the nominees. It's obviously got to be Richard and Danica.
Oh, Richard!
Fucking love that.
This season's best hair lip award. Again, I got nothing for it, guys.
Oh, porn mustache. Porn mustache. I don't know. Do you have anything, Adam?
I'm gonna have to go with Kyle Larson for his Movember mustache.
Yeah. Oh my God, Larson with that mustache, and then my friend Jonathan's like, "Dear Kyle Larson, you're not 1993 Jeff Gordon. Knock it off." And I'm like, "Oh my God." Yeah. Besides best hair, like on top of your head, I probably have to say the best hair in that category would be. I don't know. I was thinking somewhere along the lines of Harvick, considering he's losing his hair. I think he needs to get some hair club for men and get his hair back. As far as mustaches goes, I'd have to say Larson's for sure.
I mean, well, of course it's Larson because I didn't know he grew facial hair until the month of Movember. So that was amazing. His fiance probably hated his guts. In going in retro porn stashes with Terry Labonte's retirement, obviously we have to give props to him, and with Dale Jarrett not being on TV anymore, we have to give props to the guys who used to sport those mustaches. They're two of the last in terms of the Adam's comment about Harvick. Harvick had a receding hairline back in 2007 when he won Daytona. I'm like, I saw him on David Letterman. I'm like, motherfucker, that guy is bald. And I'm like, man, that's disturbing. And that's still the case now. Now he has $13 million.
Are you going to still watch The Late Show when Stephen Colbert takes over?
Why not? He's a funny guy. I like Stephen Colbert. Is he gonna be as good as Fallon? Whatever. I can take either one. Both of them are better than that fucking big chin tool Jay Leno. But that's the whole.
You know the saddest part about it is none of the drivers go on Conan O'Brien.
Well, because Conan O'Brien's a washout. But that's.
Don't make fun of Conan. I like Conan. All right, Danica Female Impersonator Award.
Richard.
Yeah, Richard.
Or Candy Cane. Actually, it's Candy Cane. We have to go with Candy Cane because the fact is he wishes he was a chick. He behaves like a chick. Well, no. All right. So the guy who kind of is effeminate is Candy Cane because his demographic is like 8 to 14-year-old girls. But definitely the Danica impersonator is MW55 with whatever you call the nonsense he did on Dancing with the Stars for weeks, abusing the world and blinding many people. That's definitely the Danica impersonator because that guy should just.
I'd have to say a tie between Kane and Waltrip. Because, Phil's right, because most of the people that like Casey Kane are girls who are just coming into puberty or 17-year-old girls who wish they could be with Casey Kane, but no, they ain't got a chance in fucking hell. And Waltrip, we all know, he's just dying to reveal his true self and why Buffy divorced his ass in the first place. I mean, I watched, when Elizabeth played the clips from the show, I didn't even have to watch the show to hear, wow, Michael Waltrip's fucking gay. Jesus Christ. But Waltrip and Kane, if the tie is possible for this award.
I'm just letting you guys know, if DW happens to be on the next season, you can forget about me playing the clips.
Ugh. Ain't science.
I'd probably have to walk off the show with that, actually. I'd probably go and find a beer. I would leave the show. I'd go to my liquor store, get a bottle of moonshine, come back, start drinking the moonshine, and see what happens. We'll see that's what's going to end up happening. If fucking jackass gets on that. I hope somebody would throw him and put him in a car in the passenger seat, make him shit his Depends. That'd be great for the world. And then he goes and flips over on his head the way he tried to kill Davey Allison. That fuck. Sorry.
It's alright. It's alright. The Michael Walsh Bestiality Award. Oh, that's easy, Michael Walsh.
Oh my god, that's perfect.
It goes to Michael. Sorry.
Obviously.
Well, yeah, if it isn't Michael, we can make an extension for Junebug. Also Elliot Sadler, especially with that disgusting picture that's on our page. I had to. This is a perfect segue. Not really, but it's a segue into that disgusting the Pucomania of entertainment. Kardashian's picture and then superimposing Gomer Pyle into it. That's
But at least it's better looking. He's better looking than freaking Kardashian.
Oh my god! Even though I hate Kim Kardashian, that's definitely not the case. Oh, that's disgusting. That's like oh man, that's
Will you rather see that, or would you rather see Danica do that? It's up to you.
Well, Danica's usually in that position anyway, so it's not like it's unfamiliar to her. I mean, it's just a case that there's like a gangbang going on. You just have to go and put joints right in front of every one of her holes, and it'd just be like real life.
Oh my god. The tampon pull string strawberry douche rookie of the year.
Jeff Gordon.
Oh my fucking god.
Nate, if you ever come to Brick, New Jersey, I want to shake your hand and hug you.
It's Jeff Gordon. It's Hendrick Motorsports.
I'm going to Austin Dillon. I'm sorry, but he sucked this season, even though he's driving the legendary 3 car.
I'd have to say a tie between Six Pack and Silver Spoons, just for that measure.
I think it's yeah. I mean, I agree with because Austin Dillon's so overrated. And in other news, Ty's gonna get to start the Daytona 500 next year.
If he qualifies.
He'll have enough points. They go back on owners' points. So the fact
is, he's going to crash the wall within lap 3.
Well, that's fine, but he'll be in the Daytona 500. But definitely Hendrick Motorsports fits this award to the T because they whine more and cry more than anybody and get more help than anybody.
Yeah. Okay, the Dixie Carter Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, for folks that don't know who Dixie Carter is, she's the owner of a really shitty wrestling company called TNA, and she sucks at running it. So this award will go to Brian France because he's ruining NASCAR.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's a tie between BZF and Boss Hog, Mike Pelton.
Okay, the Most Improved Driver of the Year award. I'm gonna have to say Brad. Brad from that sloppy head in 2013 and coming with 6 wins, he improved.
Yeah, I'd have to say it's a tie between Brad and Gordon from Gordon last year, only having that lone victory at Martinsville to winning 4 races and not having a shot to contend for the championship before that whole bullshit at Texas. And then Brad kicked fucking ass this year. Out of all the drivers this year that won and had just consistency, I believe that Brad should have won the championship because he just got fucked out of it. But for another story, yeah, it'd have to be a tie between Brad and Gordon. And an honorable mention, I guess, would be Harvick going from 3 wins to 3rd to 5 wins in 1st this year. So those are my picks.
I mean, those 3 guys are all relevant title contenders. The first 2 guys mentioned were probably 2 of the 4 best drivers, period. They should have been there, but this great format left them both out. And then in Harvick's case, Tony Stewart called a shot when he signed him. Kevin mentioned it. The one little clip I did see from the banquet was that he called a shot and he said, "I'll get you a championship." And Harvick tried to choke it away. He did everything in his power. He bitched about his team, did this and that. Tony sacrificed everything. And the last 2 weeks, dude showed up. I mean, in terms, if I'm gonna say most improved, I mean you can't say about Larson because he's a rookie, but I didn't really think he was gonna do as great as he did this year in a Cup car. Um, Most improved driver. I mean, there's two people and they're connected. It may not be a favorite of one person on this panel, but I have to say Pizza Face because the fact is Pizza Face was 2 years ago was a couple of races away from probably not having a job, and now he's a contender. It took a long time, and it took being in a different team, but he was one of the four best drivers this year. He choked it when it mattered. Him and his pit crew choked it when it mattered, but in the end, him and Brad are quite a combination that are going to be tough to be reckoned with. And once they get Brian Blaney's sponsorship, I hate I hate it for a lot of people when you have those three guys together in one team in Cup. I give it to Logano and then AJ Allmendinger for all the stuff that he's went through in his life. Basically, as mentioned last week, kind of took the hit for whatever drugs he may or may not have done, and his career got taken down. And to come all the way back and win at Watkins Glen the way he did, and then run in the chase the way he did, he was one of the best drivers in the chase the whole way. The sad thing was he got eliminated in the first round. I say it would be both. I would say Logano and AJ, but big props to AJ Allmendinger for taking a really shitty team with a goofy owner and making them relevant.
Okay, the asshole that ruined it for everyone award. I would say Brian France.
Yeah, I'd have to say when I came up with the name, I was thinking, well, let's see, how could NASCAR get any worse from here? And what was relevant like 15 years ago that you could do now? Can't do it now. So I'd probably have to say Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch ruined Nationwide in trucks, and now nobody can race in Nationwide or trucks if that Pee Wee Herman looking motherfucker's in that race. He'll just up and win. So the other Cup drivers, yeah, they can go into races and shit and still have a chance to contend, but mostly it's Pee Wee Herman that dominates the race. So yeah, that's my pick. Kyle Busch.
I'll go with. I mean, the fact is, Mark Martin started the whole thing back in the '90s with the Winn Dixie Ford and Roush Racing. It's just that Kyle Busch has gone on and went ape shit and like hit it in overdrive. That's the thing. He's basically doing what Mark Martin used to do, but it doesn't make up for the fact that Kyle's personality is worse than the dish towel. Uh, I'll give it to Rick Hendrick because honestly, I've watched the sport for so long, and basically for as long as I've watched it, he's had some control. It wasn't as obvious early. Jeffy coming along and becoming good with Raymond uh, started the turn. Earnhardt's not being competitive due to Larry Mack helped, and Richard Childress being behind the times with multi-car teams, but and then Rick Hendrick faking illnesses to get out of jail terms and not paying taxes and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think Rick Hendrick for me, uh, while he may other people are helped greatly, uh, I think he's the guy that's ruined it all because if it weren't for Hendrick Motorsports, I think the sport would look a hell of a lot better.
Okay, the favorite Adam and Phil rant award. Now we're gonna do this. Phil and I are gonna tell which is our favorite Adam rant of the year. Sorry, Adam, you can't vote for yourself in. Then
Ah, damn it.
sorry, can't have favoritism, folks. And Adam and I will choose Phil's rant. Phil's our favorite Phil rant award. Sorry, Phil, you can't choose your own rant either. So
That's okay.
all right, so let's start with Adam's rant. This is difficult because I like Adam's rants. I'm gonna say the rant where he calls out Michael Waltrip for using Dale Sr.'s name on Dancing with the Morons.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think because the fact the Johnson ones, they have so much vitriol with them, every single one. But the point is, as the season went on, the Adam, it just took what it basically was. I think the first episode, Adam appeared and he went off on Johnson. That to me, between that and the obvious, Michael Waltrip using Earnhardt's name for his benefit, those two definitely stand out in terms of you could get too many awards for your rants of the year, man.
Okay, my favorite Phil rant is when he almost had a freaking heart attack when he complained about Danica writing an article for Derek Jeter's website. That was hilarious.
Fuck. It's kind of like how all my rant, like Phil and you guys like all my rants. It's kind of hard to pinpoint which Phil rant was my favorite. It'd probably have to be that one and honorable mention to fuck. I forget which episode it was. I think it was one of the other episodes we were doing that had to do with Dancing with the Stars, and we both just went off on NW55. And what else? I think we also did one on Hendrick and how he has gotten away with so much shit. And I think it had to do with Johnson winning at Texas, and then we ended up getting into a rant about Hendrick and how much of a piece of shit he is. So yeah, it's really hard to pick one because there's a lot of good ones, but those are my two favorites to get it out there.
All right. Since it's not on the favorite, do I get an award? What's my favorite rant? Did I even rant?
Yeah, I don't think you did. I mean, you were like, well, you did get mad at a few of them, but not like in the dexterity of like in the next volume of me and Phil.
Oh, okay.
That's something you get to work on for 2015.
All right. There's nothing for me to rant on, unless you bring up my hatred for John Cena, but that's a different story. The Milk of Magnesia Award for the most sickening result. Johnson winning Charlotte. I wanted to throw up.
Earnhardt winning the 500 or any race.
Johnson winning all the races this year for sure. That's me.
The Cellar Dweller participated were for for mediocrity in a major NASCAR series. Dale Jr. winning the 500.
Well, you have something, Adam?
Trying to figure it out. What was the award again?
The Cellar Dweller Participation Award.
Oh, the mediocrity as in racing or what?
That's in general in racing, in NASCAR. Just for being just absolute shit.
Well, besides the majority of the TNT races being absolute garbage, I'd probably have to say both Dover races just being fucking borefest. I also have to give another mention to the Texas race a few weeks ago. That race was dog shit. And I think the next shittiest thing that I've seen all year besides all those races would probably have to be that finish at Richmond. That just pissed me off. The one in May or April, that was bullshit.
Well, okay, I'll go with the different. I'll go with the different stance. I'll go with any race that involved milk and donuts.
Oh.
Because when you're talking about mediocrity, milk and donuts is right there.
The Lubricant Award for most butthurt fan groups and when? Mostly Jimmy Johnson fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, we mostly Yeah, mostly Fix Pack fans, including our favorite guy Phil Bartley. How he got so butthurt. That should be another award of the someone on the group who lost their shit and whined about it for months award or some shit like that. It's mostly Johnson fans and here and there Pukemania fans, and I don't think we've ever gotten hate for my Logano rants or Dana Can't rants. I don't think.
Although I did get an FU message from one of the junior fans over the Dale Jr. Inbreeding Spectacular episode. It's like, whatever, dude. Look.
Yeah, that probably issued a lot of hate for me, but I don't fucking care because that's what it was. I mean, and right here in NASCAST 500, we like to joke about shit. And if you can't joke about Goonbug, then you need to like do something with your life, like Christ on a stick.
Yeah, he's not Jesus, folks.
I mean, he does have that beard going for him, but he can't walk on water. He couldn't walk in the chase to save his life for the first few years at Hendrick.
He can't make a decision on his own either.
Best original nickname for NASCAST award. I'm going to have to say No Neck. I like No Neck. It's actually pretty clever.
It's Pizza Face, because I've been calling Newman No Neck for a long time. I never heard the Pizza Face reference for Logano, and then ever since then I just call him Pizza Face at all times, which I give credit to Adam. That's a good one, because it just makes it more hilarious to look at Logano. Because anytime he gets mad, I just say, oh, Pizza Face.
I'd probably have to... this is kind of like a three-way tie. My first would probably have to be Roid Rage, because I'm like, who the fuck is Roid Rage? And when we were talking about it, and they're like, you guys are like Edwards, I'm like, oh, because he works out. Okay, that's funny. My second one would have to be No Neck, because even though I'm a Logano, I almost said I was a Logano fan. What the fuck am I doing? Well, I'm a big Newman fan, and even though I'm a Newman fan, that was pretty fucking funny, because I looked at his neck and I'm like, oh my god, they're right, he doesn't have a neck. And then I guess the third one would have to be Pukemania, because that's another nickname I didn't get for the first few weeks in NASCAST when I was on here. I'm like, who the hell is Pukemania? And then you guys were like Danica, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Hulk Hogan might sue us for using Mania.
Oh, and then the next final one would have to be Richard, because ever since Phil started saying that, every time I see Stenhouse on the video game I play or in the race, I just go, Richard, and I've been saying that ever since then.
Okay, the NASCAST 500 Top 10 Races of the Year award. Holy shit!
Well, we can work on this as a group. I think for me, Eldora would probably be one of the top races for me. Is it the top? Like, can we come up with? We could come up with 10 races that were up there. We all, I think, loved Eldora.
Yeah, Eldora's number. Yeah, we like Eldora. And
then I think AJ Allmendinger winning at Watkins Glen went over pretty well with this group.
Yes.
Anytime Bradley won.
Yeah.
Like Talladega, okay. So him backing in at Talladega to get into the next round, I think that one was a good one.
Jeff Gordon winning the Indianapolis 500?
You mean the Brickyard 400?
Yeah, whatever. The Brickyard.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that one was a big win. Because he's the legend, so he's won more races than anybody ever.
Well, there's not all those races that are pretty good this year. It's all crap.
Ryan, I mean, I give Ryan Blaney when he jumped in a nationwide car. I think he won a nationwide race. The Bristol nationwide race in August when Ryan Blaney used up Kyle Busch or whoever he did. That was good.
Yeah, Kyle got so mad after that race.
Kyle Larson, his nationwide wins, especially California. That one, those you could probably just combine them. Chase Elliott's first two wins should just be one category because he wins at Texas, beating Harvick and Earnhardt and a couple of whatever, and then he goes and wins Burlington after never racing the track in real life. His first appearance there, he wins Burlington. That's just insane. You don't do that. I give credit to that. Ryan Blaney, Bubba. Props to anybody who won a race for the first time, won their first career race. I think those are big events. Chris Buescher at Mid-Ohio. Eric Almirola at Daytona. There's a few first-time winners. Cole Custer and his Accutane at New Hampshire. Eric Jones had one, but he's sick. I mean, if he doesn't win the truck championship, I don't know who is, because that kid is ridiculously good. Honorable mention to John Hunter Nemechek, who won the Snowball Derby this past weekend.
How come? Was it even on TV or no?
No, they don't show that race on TV.
Sucks.
But
we could have talked about that.
But that's one of the biggest late model races of the year, and usually big names win it. Eric Jones has won it the past couple of years. Johanna Long has won it previously. And in other news I read today, Mike Afrano, who drove limited races in the truck series of the Bright Pink truck, is looking for funding to run a full-time slate, and he's also involved in trying to get Johanna Long back on the racetrack, possibly for a full-time nationwide, Xfinity and or truck opportunity, which would be great for the world and great for us guys who like hot chicks driving race cars.
Okay. Now this word wasn't even on the post, but I made it up earlier today. Our favorite episode of NASCAST 500. I will start. My favorite one has to be the when Dancing with the Stars destroys a host of NASCAST 500. We were losing our shit when we were listening to Michael Waltrip humiliate himself.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with that. My favorite episode, that would be like a tie. That's one of my favorites for sure. I almost had a heart attack dying from Waltrip embarrassing himself and making me like a complete dumbass. Then the second one, I guess, would have to be I think it was when after Talladega when Fixed Pack and Goonier and Candy King got eliminated. That was one of my favorites. And then the last show that we had for the regular season, that was a good one too. That was an honorable mention for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with all those that Adam said. I think the number one was the Michael was Fruitcake's dancing or imitation of dancing debut, and then I would say the inbreeding special number two. I definitely remember Talladega because of Brad making it and all those other losers not. And then the finale, season finale, because it was 3 pretty solid events, or at least 2 solid events. That I would say if there's 4 shows, those 4 shows are definitely up there.
Okay. Anything else before we go? Any news? Anybody?
Well, yeah, I was gonna announce the Johanna Long news since we were talking about her, but Phil took care of that. I don't really see anything that's gonna be talked about much. I mean, I usually get my news from J-Ski, and we basically covered almost half of that. There's not really anything besides Dillon, Silver Spoons the second, getting a chance to run the Daytona 500. He'll wreck and have some other. He'll run like shit. The SS. Oh, that's nothing. The Chevy SS is going to be gone after this year. They're going to be getting rid of that model, and then they're going to be have to drive something new for Chevy in 2016. And also that also has to do with the Holden Commodore in the V8 series, and that's basically the same car, just rebranded. Personally, I never really liked the SS anyways. It was kind of a car. It's just like the Impala. It's just there. They didn't really fucking care. They should bring back the Monte Carlo. If they ever started making one, that'd be great. But yeah, besides that, there's nothing really else that we haven't talked about.
Yeah, and I was. Yeah, I went to check fixed news this week, and there's like really same old shit. I'm like, nah, let's not do it. Let's not waste.
Yeah, yeah. We haven't found I'm running their weekly Dan Jim Johnson article, but wait for next week. They'll write one. They'll write another one. I guarantee it.
Yeah, we won't be discussing it.
Yeah, good.
Unless it's important, but whatever. All right. Well, we're your proud members of the geeksoftheindustry.com. There are 9 shows. Geeks at the flagship Geeks of the Industry. There's also Geeks on Film, Sleep Notes, Mega Powers Radio, Wrestling with Spot, Pro Wrestling Nation, Cartilage International, Chatastrophe, and our show, NASCAST 500. Lately there's a little special on each of them called Nightmare on Pod Street. It's just reminiscing about the nice Nightmare on Elm Street series. We are not part of that because I'm not a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not a big horror movie buff, and we weren't asked, so whatever. It's all good. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/NASCAST 500, or the main page, facebook.com/groups/G of the I. We are on Twitter at NASCAST 500. And if you'd like to follow me, my Twitter handle is @Elizabeth Moxley, but I'm not safe for work. Guys?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm on there basically every day, ranting on stuff about NASCAR, what I deem to be stupid or things that get on my nerves. I also post a lot of 80s shit on there. So I'm at facebook.com, www.facebook.com/Adam Lesman on the writer. I'm also on YouTube, www.youtube.com/user/Sunnyburn1988. And yep, that's about it for me.
Yeah, I'm on facebook.com/PhilipGMathew, and my Twitter @PhilipGMathew. Usually I post or share stuff related to sports or motorsports. So if you're into that sort of stuff, then follow me.
Alright, with that being said, for my good friends Adam and Phil, I'm Elizabeth. Have a nice day.
Disconnected light. Don't let temptation be your load. There are bandits on the road. Don't go to the left, don't go to the right. Swallow that straight old line. Don't go to the left, don't go to the right. Swallow that straight old line. Road of ambition, it's a casualty trail.